It looks like researchers have discovered something that's hard to believe. A visitor from another star system, an object they call ATLAS. It was first spotted on July 1, 2025, and now a new image of this enigmatic body, which NASA scientists are calling 3 ATLAS, is causing a stir throughout the astronomy community. This object is no comet or asteroid. For just the 3rd time in recorded history, we have witnessed the passage of a confirmed interstellar object through our solar system, with the enigmatic object Oumuamua appearing in 2017 and Comet Borisov 2 years later. A new visitor from the far reaches of space seems to be on its way to our neighborhood. What really makes this new image special isn't just the incredibly crisp quality you see. It's what it can't explain. Unlike anything previously captured by a camera, the 3i ATLAS occupies a space between solidity and transparency, between the natural and the technological, between what is readily understood and what stretches our capacity for imagination. So before we proceed, please remember to show your appreciation with a like, subscribe to our channel for more awesome space content, and turn on the bell icon so that you will receive notifications about every new space discovery we unveil for you. NASA's Hubble and James Webb telescopes collaborated to capture this image, which shows an object undergoing changes in both its brightness and its shape, even within the confines of the same frame. To the untrained eye, it resembles a huge ice chunk shimmering under the sun's rays and slowly making its way around. But if we examine things more closely, it becomes evident that something is far from ordinary here. No known asteroid, comet, or icy body exhibits a reflective behavior that matches that of this object. The light emitted from this object shows chemical signatures that are not present anywhere within our solar system. It's even more strange that its albedo, the extent to which it reflects light, changes every time we observe it. Ever since Oumuamua was first discovered, astronomers have been waiting for exactly such encounters. In 2017, Oumuamua opened the door to speculation about the possibility of unnatural objects in space. 2 years later, Borisov brought science back down to Earth, grounding it firmly in reality. It was clearly a normal comet, but 3i ATLAS, discovered by the ATLAS telescope in Hawaii, doesn't fit into any of these categories. At first, researchers thought it was a fast-moving comet nucleus, until new NASA and spectral analyses showed that this visitor plays by a set of rules all its own. The new images are breathtaking. Their structures display a distinct elongated nucleus elegantly enveloped by a translucent layer, resembling a delicate veil of mist. Except that this veil does not have the typical shape of a comet's tail. Instead, the light emitted by ATLAS appears structured. With their regular pulsation, the bright bands and dots seem to follow the steady beat of an invisible master of rhythm. The object appears to glow from within. The distribution of the light suggests that it has its own energy sources, not just sunlight being reflected. This is highly puzzling for planetary scientists. These icy bodies, that is, icy celestial bodies, are usually characterized by their irregular and chaotic shapes. But ATLAS shows a symmetrical, ordered structure that looks more like something artificially constructed. Even more puzzling is how it reacts to solar radiation. In a normal scenario, comets produce gas eruption, tiny jets of gas, which slightly modify their trajectory as they approach the sun, but ATLAS behaves differently. It accelerates irrespective of how far away it might be from the sun. Overlaid movement data reveals minuscule deviations in trajectory, deviations that cannot be attributed to gravitational forces or gas jets. There are some observers who claim that the object appears to be actively steering itself, a thought that provokes both amazement and unease. Even more puzzling is the material that appears to make up 3i ATLAS. A detailed spectral analysis shows clear, distinct lines pointing to the presence of silicates, organic matter, and even metallic compounds. But their combination does not fit into any known natural pattern. Certain measured peaks strongly suggest the presence of highly ordered crystal structures. Patterns exhibiting regularity and repetition, the kind typically found only in carefully controlled conditions. Such order is rarely found in nature. Ice, dust, and rock are chaotic, irregular, random, but ATLAS appears different, almost as if its structure has been deliberately stabilized. Some researchers suspect that it could be an entirely new type of mineral formation which only occurs in the extreme pressure and magnetic field of interstellar space. Others whisper quietly of something artificial, as if someone or something had created this object. But what is fascinating about the new images is not just the shape, but the dynamics. The bright bands that stretch across its surface appear alive, Tiny variations are even discernible in static images, giving the impression that the light is in motion, pulsating, and breathing. Using numerous photographs captured closely together, NASA produced a composite picture, and clearly the surface seems to oscillate slightly, like some energy sources operating underneath, exerting its influence on the structure visible above. Officially, terms such as artificial or technological are avoided, yet even the most cautious scientists admit that the observed behavior is far more reminiscent of a controlled energy release than of completely random activity. At certain wavelengths, ATLAS is almost invisible. Sensors detect weak ultraviolet and radio signals only, suggesting that its outer layers block or deflect light waves, perhaps via absorption or scattering phenomena. This selective visibility is what most baffles physicists. How can an object be so strikingly luminous in the visible and infrared spectrums while simultaneously being completely invisible in other spectral ranges? One hypothesis speaks of exotic carbon structures that can reflect and refract light in a targeted manner. Another of magnetic shielding that blocks certain radiation. However, such mechanisms usually require energy, and where this would come from remains completely unclear. But during its release of the images, NASA highlighted the fact that the data was in fact preliminary. Perhaps, according to the researchers, some of the unusual effects might be a result of calibration inaccuracies or complex light scattering processes. But beyond the official statements, the debate is raging. Independent astronomers, amateur researchers, and internet forums are analyzing every pixel. A number of observers liken the pulsating light pattern to well-known astrophysical phenomena, for example, pulsars, objects that regularly emit radio waves, or ion engines, devices that create glowing jets of gas. What's truly disturbing is the geometry of the light bands. Concentric ellipses perfectly aligned along the axis of motion. Such order hardly occurs by chance in nature. Even more astonishing is how ATLAS interacts with its environment. Small dust particles near the device are showing unusually high levels of electric charge. Observations made by the Parker Solar Probe operating within its observation range revealed that the particles were not dispersing in the manner expected. Instead of forming a diffuse cloud, they arrange themselves into long thread-like structures that extend for thousands of kilometers. The NASA images show the faint outlines of these tendril structures. These thin, luminous threads are softly illuminated by the gentle glow emanating from ATLAS himself. One could almost imagine a cloaked entity drifting through the vastness of interstellar space, a creature composed of both matter and energy. If this truly represents a genuine object, then it challenges every single assumption we had previously held regarding interstellar objects. Such structures, especially stable and luminous ones, ought not exist at all in the cold, rarefied space between the stars. If 3i ATLAS does indeed exhibit properties that go beyond our known physical models, then we would have to completely rethink our understanding of how interstellar objects form. The immense space between stars is characterized by extreme cold, near emptiness, and a destructive environment for any fragile material. The fact that a celestial body such as ATLAS maintains its structural integrity and even shows evidence of internal activity suggests one of two possibilities. It either possesses a protective mechanism or is composed of an entirely novel substance. Some astrophysicists suspect that it may have superconducting properties. Measurements indicate that electrons flow through its material with almost no resistance. Upon confirmation, it would mark the first ever discovery of a natural superconductor existing outside the boundaries of our solar system. It constitutes a revolutionary breakthrough impacting both astronomy and materials science. Perhaps there are regions out there where magnetic fields and pressure conditions allow such perfect conductors to spontaneously form, conditions that we cannot replicate on Earth. But there is another mystery. Where did this visitor come from? Its trajectory was traced using complex orbital calculations. It appears to have originated in a region between two nearby star systems. Scientists theorize that a powerful gravitational interaction, such as the violent collision of two stars or the cataclysmic explosion of a companion star, is the likely cause of this object's ejection millions of years ago. But the precision of its path raises questions. As it entered our solar system, ATLAS followed a nearly perfect parabolic trajectory closely crossing the plane of Earth's orbit. Such a coincidence is extremely rare in astronomical terms. Thanks to the razor-sharp images, its motion can now be reconstructed with great precision. Tiny micro-adjustments are noticeable, as if its trajectory were being corrected every now and then. Certainly, magnetic or thermal influences might also produce these kinds of discrepancies. but many observers find the precise and rhythmic nature of these variations quite unsettling. According to the latest NASA data, 3I ATLAS is about 200 meters long, larger than Oumuamua but smaller than typical comets. Its brightness fluctuates at regular intervals. This suggests a rotation of a few hours. Strangely though, the rotation undergoes unpredictable bursts of acceleration and deceleration. The light curve, i.e. the recorded brightness over time, does not show a uniform sine wave, but rather pulsed patterns almost like modulated signals. Some researchers cautiously speak of internal gyroscopic forces. Others see this as an indication of active stabilization, something that is more familiar from artificial objects, and its surface also irritates. Instead of being jagged and rough as in the case of typical comet nuclei, it appears remarkably smooth and homogeneous. Of course, even with its advanced capabilities, the James Webb Telescope cannot yield perfect detail at such a great distance. Nonetheless, the current available data suggests that ATLAS is anything but an ordinary celestial body. Different natural explanations are currently circulating to account for the unusual observations. Perhaps it is a fragment of a destroyed moon or planet whose interior still contains residual energy, or an interstellar comet with crystalline carbon nuclei that provide the regular light pulses. Nevertheless, none of these theories offer a complete explanation for the coordinated appearance of the luminous rings or for the uniformly warm temperature distribution observed in the infrared imagery. As a rule, exposure to sunlight results in the formation of hot spots, consequently causing asymmetric melting. ATLAS, on the other hand, remains at a constant temperature, as if actively distributing heat. If all this is true, then total end is imminent. Then we may be on the receiving end of the most fascinating discovery since the beginning of modern astronomy. A remarkable object that not only defies our models and stretches our imaginations to their limits, but may also challenge our very understanding of what constitutes something natural. If you find this topic just as exciting as we do, then please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Do you think that 3I ATLAS is a natural visitor, or could there be something more behind its presence? Let us know below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching.